Hello, and I am back. I want to thank International Wives of African Men on Facebook for shouting my video out and sending people to watch it. Thank you so much. I posted a link to my video after watching a lady's video with a guy came from Africa to see her. They've been dating online. I couldn't actually get through the entire video. Um, if I want her to be happy, I wish her the best. I hope it works out. I hope that she's happily ever after. I hope that she is just, loved and cared for the rest of her days on this earth, by this man or whoever. I'm glad that she has faith, and that she trusts in God. And I hope that if she does get red flags, and she prays and she listens to, I hope that she doesn't ignore the red flags for 6 and 7 years the way I did. Okay. Now my situation is different because my ex-fiance already has all of his paperwork, citizenship. He doesn't need me. He has more than me. He has his own home. He has a home in Africa, and he doesn't need me financially. Um, None of that. He doesn't need me for citizenship or whatever. He's just bitter. He's lived life and been through things, and he's bitter. Now, here's an update on our situation. We have talked since I started this rant channel. I had to do something because I was just really about to go crazy. And I write, but I just couldn't write fast enough. So I just felt like, recording these things and getting it out. And if anyone is listening to this, please don't take my experience and ruin something that's possibly good for you because of suspicion and because of this. My whole thing is totally different. My whole makeup, the whole everything is just totally different from anyone else's. I'm not saying that anyone else didn't go through this. You could go through this with any man or any woman. If they're just a hateful person and they always just, angry and hateful and saying hateful things about people, you know, if you can tolerate that and you deal with that, uh, you feel like you can change them, whatever. That's just not my style. I'm in the business. I can't do grown people. I can guide and lead young people, especially when they're open to me leading them. I can do children and things like that. I can work with children and young adults. But when you 50 and 60 years old, you know, 40, 50, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and you are just kind of stuck in your ways, I'm probably going to walk away. And I'll do the lead by example, love from a distance. I'll do that, but I just no. So here's the update on my ex-fiance. We have talked. We talked in person for a nice amount of time. Now the thing is, he's 52 years old. You know, I'm not a young spry nothing either. I'm not 50. I'm not gonna disclose my age, but I have a 9-year-old son that I want him to see a man loving me, not, in road rage, tits and tats with folks and, stuff coming out your mouth negative all the time. I want him, and he has a good spirit, so I want to nurture that in my son. I don't want him to, think that these types of things, this microaggression stuff, I don't want him to think that that's okay. It's not. Everyone has a bad day. Everyone slips. Everyone does some crazy stuff, says some crazy stuff, but that conviction deep inside of you that makes you like, why did I do that? Some people turn that off and they think that what they've done is okay, and it's not. So his mask slipped. He bring in, he brought food. Um, there was some envelope, whatever. He just doing whatever he can to slip back in. And for me, I know that it's probably more about sex than anything. And then he kind of wants to stay. He wants to save his face because he's walked through. He told everybody he was going to get married too. And even his friends is like, "That's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl." And he's sitting up here scrambling trying to put everything back together. And he can't believe that it fell apart that quick. I'm pretty sure he's like, I can't believe that she's just done. And even when we met, he's like, wow, you're so cold. You know, um, yeah. I mean, I wish you the best, but there's nothing that you can say because you've shown yourself. You let that mask slip. And I saw you for who you really were. And I'm not saying that he can't change, but I'm saying at 52 years old, he probably doesn't want to change. If he really was like in the business of change, he'd have been actively changing himself all this time. It doesn't matter that he's African. He could have been anybody, white, black, whatever. Anybody that in his position, like the way he was, if they would have said that, anybody could have caught it from me. Anybody. I don't care. Um, I've been researching the Akata, all of this, and I remember him telling me, just oh, that's just what we call American African Americans born here in America. And then I get to researching and digging, and I find out that depending on how they're using it, but most of the time they not meaning you loving sweet person you. That's not what they mean by that. You loving sweet person that live here in America. No, that's not what they mean by that. I saw this lady break it down and she's condescending at the that was so crazy because she had all that microaggression too because she says one thing and then she says another thing another way and she's just like then you don't know what it means. I'm like, if you can read, they have the definition right out there. So euro by word. We can read over here. You do know that, right? Um, but back to the young man, the old man. We have agreed to not be nasty to each other. Now I don't think that I was too nasty. I sent him pictures of some slavery stuff and I was like, "Oh, was this is I was like we were labeled lazy after we stopped working for free." I sent him a few of those pictures. He doesn't even check his text messages, so he I don't even think he probably got it. But I will say this. Um I do believe that he loves me. I believe that he loves my son. I don't think that he is 100% horrible. I don't think that he, is just a super horrible person. I think that he has some views on life. He has some aggression. He has things going on with him that he's chosen that path, and I'm choosing a different path. I want to be with someone happy. I want to be with someone that doesn't have road rage and microaggression and, labeling folks and classifying people and always negative things to say about folks. You don't even know these people. Stereotyping and categorizing folks. I know. I understand where he's coming from though, because of the experiences he's had. Those experiences, however, are a result of his choices. If he was at the library, if he was at the university, if he was at business conferences, if he was going around educated, intellectual black folks and other types of folks, he would have never even ran into these little hood rat folks and doing all this crazy stuff that he's been through. He never even ran into these people. And then he happens to run into me and, he wants to some type of way express this to me. That's just like a woman that has been battered, beat down, just this man then kicked her behind. And so she manages to get out and then, she enters another relationship. Okay, yeah, she's going to be super nervous. But then she should at some point, once this man has proven himself, she should be able to let her guard down some. I'm sure she'll never ever ever be the same after that. But at some point, she has to make a decision. This is not the man that did this horrible thing to me. So that's the same way with my ex-fiance. He has to understand that not all Black Americans are lazy. Not all Black Americans are not jealous of immigrants. Not all Black Americans are dumb and stupid and hood rats and stuff. Yeah, but ultimately, you know, I'm getting calls every day, every other day now. I used to call him early. I know it's routine, so I used to call him, and sometimes he wouldn't return my call for the entire day. Or if he did call, it'd be late. After he gets off or after he's done working, that's when he'd call. And I see how he is with his phone. His phone is very irritating to him because he has folks calling from Africa. Everybody need money. Everybody wants money. Somebody died. This is coming up. That is coming up. I mean, I understand. I get it. I want to throw his phone sometimes. But I notice now I'm just calling to check on you. All of this stuff that he should have been doing, in the last year and a half or 2 years. Actually, this is our first major blow up in a few years, because we went a steady pace without having any major incidents and any major arguments or anything. But like I say, in the first few audio sessions, we had a rough start. We had a really rough start. We took a year break, resumed, and after we resumed, after that year, it did go smoother. Now, my post that I did a few weeks ago, when I first started the channel, the Facebook post, I see that there's added comments. I turned off the notifications though. And the common theme, women, you messing up a good thing. I'm like, you want my dress? I'll send you my dress. You walk on down that aisle. You sleep with this man and let him road rage and cuss and holler and classify folks. You do all of that. You sit there and try to calm him down and speak reasoning into him. You do that, because I'm not. If he was a child, if he was a teenager, I'd do that. If he was my teenage son or my son, I speak reason to my son. I would work harder if he was a young man. He's not. He's a 52-year-old man. That man, we'll just say 42. We'll say 35 years. 35 years as an adult, doing the things that he's doing, saying the things, thinking the way he's thinking. In some type of way, I'm going to reverse 35 years. No. I want to send them the dress so they can walk down the aisle, because apparently just getting down that aisle is just the most important thing. The after you've left the church or left where you've gotten married, the rest of your life starts. No one is thinking about that. No one is thinking about living with the person that always have something negative to say. I don't want that. I understand people have bad days and you vent. But again, you could go running, you could kickbox, you can aerobics, you can ride bikes, you can take a hot bath, meditate, you can just whatever you choose to do to relax and unwind. You choose the words that's coming out of your mouth. We're not toddlers. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's the update. He's really in pursuit because, he wants to save face. He wants to tell his friends, yeah, the wedding is back on. I won her back. That's what he wants to tell folks. But he's not going to be able to. Okay, so an even better update. I have a super duper handsome neighbor. He's very quiet. He's a vegetarian. He's super reserved and quiet and all of that. We've struck up a couple conversations, just in passing, neighborly type conversations about the community and stuff. So I think that he's noticed that, Mr. Man hasn't been over here. He didn't say it outright, but he's being a little bit more bold, initiating more conversations. But He is a few years younger than me. I always go older, not younger normally. So, but one thing I noticed is just we just maybe have sexual tension, sexual attraction. And if I want that, then I just might as well go back to Mr. Man, Mr. Nigerian Man, because I don't want anyone that just the whole relationship is just based off of sex, or we're just having sex and casually having sex. That's not, even if, yeah, everyone has their little needs and stuff like that, but I can control my desires and urges and things. I have some self-control. So just hopping out of one bed and hopping into another man's bed, no, that's not my style. This is fairly new and fresh. I would like to continue flirting. It's fun. I can't say, oh, this is how it's gonna be or whatever. I'm just gonna continue flirting, but he does make me smile because he is very handsome. And he's American, from Louisiana. And so I don't know, I don't really know how it's gonna work out, and I'm not putting anything on, we're just flirting. And then there's this little chocolate something. little chocolate. He's younger than him. He's even younger. And so, it's fun. The attention, and it's fun. The young man, the chocolate young guy, he's been at it for a while, trying to get me. And I think that if he offers a date or anything, I think that I may go. And the neighbor, I'm going to leave that one because I don't really like dating my neighbors and stuff like that. I don't get into that. So we shall see. But it's fun. It's refreshing. But I'm kind of just taking some time. 6 years is a long time. It'd have been seven. It'd have been seven in October. But it's a long time. So it's gonna take me a while to, get stuff out of my head and forgive, um, and people, are you gonna get back with Usman? Are you gonna get back with the Nigerian guy? You know what, honey? Life is full of surprises. As it stands now, I understand that it's just to save face. I'm not desperate enough to to be saying that, oh, I'm just getting married, to just marry whoever. Yeah, there's a history and all of that. But honey, I'm just not, it's not like a big deal. I'm an only child. I don't have a problem with being alone. I'm not lonely. I have plenty to do. I'm not a bad looking woman, you know? I'm fairly smart, still learning, and I have a lot of love to give. So I'm not like pressed, you know. I do have some people asking me, and I know that they mean well, and some of them are just nosy. But yeah, that's the two little nice little pieces. One chocolate and one caramel. So it's a beautiful thing. Wish me luck.